Okay, after you've done your introduction with your thesis, built up your main supporting arguments, and addressed the counter-argument, you're ready to move into the conclusion part of the outline. The conclusion is broken into two parts, the first of which is the summary. In the summary, you want to reiterate your main arguments. Notice that didn't say copy and paste, but reiterate means to revisit, recap, put a good idea to close it up. So here you go back through your main arguments and you tie them to your thesis. It's really important that you give the reader an idea of how these tie together and help build your argument. You don't want separate points, you want steps that build up to persuading your audience. Once you've reviewed your main arguments, you probably want to revisit your thesis. Now again, that did not say cut and paste. You shouldn't have the exact same word choice in your intro and conclusion. Instead, you will want to say your thesis in a different way, which would help your reader to have reviewed all those main points and then formulate the idea in their head. So if you've given something that made them think in the argument, now they can think about it and process the information to come to a decision on whether to agree with you or to hold a different opinion. The personal comment or call to action is perhaps one of the most important sentences in a persuasive research paper, because this is where most of the persuasion happens. You've started their brain thinking. Now you're either going to try to capture their heart or their emotions or their ethics through ethos or pathos. Now you have two options here. If you want to use ethos or pathos, you'll probably make a personal comment that calls on their worldview, it calls on their morality, it calls on their emotions. Or if you want to use logos, you're probably going with a call to action and you're going to give a specific logical choice that the reader could make in the real world if they agreed with the thesis. Now, if you've avoided using you, I, we, or us through your whole paper, good job. But be aware that the personal comment is the one section where you can fudge on this rule a little bit. Because you're using emotion, it might be okay to use I, we, or us to show some unity. But be very careful here. You don't want to sound like a teddy bear. You want to sound like a real convincing argument. So make sure anytime you use first or second person, it would be a strategic choice with specific rhetorical goals.